the 15% account needs to kind of like be at the, hey, sellahousearizona.com, PropertyNoodlers, wholesale real estate guy trainings number 113B, because I screwed up on Wednesday and called 112 113 because I didn't have my notebook with me. So sorry about that. We're on 113B today. That's all right. We get two 113s. I like it.
That's nice. Hey, good morning, Noodlers, or good day. I don't like that word morning. I'm still working on what I want to replace that word with. So welcome to this hangout. It's Wednesday, 8:30 in the morning. And Paul and I were just having kind of a discussion this morning about some of the most important things that we need to take care of first thing here in the morning. And I want to bring up the fact that how many of you begin the day without a clue as to really what you're doing? I mean, people have a plan. The average person's like, I'm just going to get up, throw myself together real quick, go to my job, mindlessly go through the day. Then when I get off, I'll probably have some beer, plop down in front of a TV and go. And that's kind of like their plan for the day. That's not us. That's not you. We're warriors, man. We do it different. We do it better. So what I wanted to kind of talk about this morning was, as we always talk about, systems, but it starts with when you get out of bed in the morning, really. And it starts before that. To me, it kind of starts the night before you go to bed. But it's like when you have a plan for your day, and especially for entrepreneurs, you want to be successful. Most of us, if you're like Paul or I, you're idea people, so you're constantly thinking and thoughts are constantly flowing through your head. And it's very easy, I think, for people like us to daydream.
Book of ideas.
Yep, it's very easy for us to daydream, but we've got to learn to focus and not go through our day haphazardly. So one of the things that I did to kind of change myself, and I like to share with you today on the Hangout, is, it starts the night before. When you lay down to go to sleep, just think about all the things you got to do the following day, but not in my opinion, a hectic sort of, dread doing them manner, but think about the positive things that you got to do the next day because they have positive results. And when you get those results, how they make you feel, but kind of visualize before you bed some of the more, get it off your mind in like 10, 15 minutes, some of the more important like tasks that will make you feel good when you complete those, because they're important things that need to get done. Even if they're things that you really don't want to do, think about how you're going to feel when it's done. Don't think about the task itself. So that's how I kind of say it starts the night before, because what I think people need to do in the morning, and what I feel a lot of people probably don't do, is you should sit every morning for, I think, 20 minutes after you get your coffee. If that's your routine. For me, I like to get up, slam a little water, walk up. Now it's this time of year to the store to get a coffee, and I'll overpay for coffee because I like the walk. It's just my routine. But and then you come back, sit down after a little routine, something like that, and think about the things you were thinking about the night before that you have to get done, and then just start making a list of the most important things that got to get done today, which are going to result in putting more money in your pocket. So that's what I was kind of talking about with you, Paul, right before we started the Hangout, was, all right, has to get done today. This has to get done. This has to get done. That's kind of like should be picked off the list first, and then get the most difficult, or not even necessarily the most difficult, but kind of those most pressing, the biggest rocks, the most pain in the ass stuff, the stuff that you really don't want to do, but it's important to do it. So that's the stuff, like, get out of the way as early as you can first thing in the morning, because when that weight's lifted off your shoulders, you have the rest of the day to do what you want to do, not thinking about those things that you really don't like to do too much. And you should never say you hate anything either. Like, don't. That's kind of off on another tangent. But I was really thinking about how important it is to sit down, I think, in the morning for 20, 30 minutes and just make a list of some of the key things that got to get through the day. Then plan on getting the most pain in the butt, just ones that you're like, I'm not really looking forward to doing that, but it really is important to get it done. And you'll see that if you put that on your list for first thing in the morning. Knock out that big one, because you know that that's the biggest weight now lifted off your shoulders. It's a liberating feeling that frees up your day. And as I said, it starts with the night before, because that's where you drum up the motivation for this, is you think forward to not actually about the task that you really don't feel like doing, but how you're going to feel when that task is done. I don't know. So that was kind of my thoughts this morning.
Well, I'm going to add something really, 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 really cool to that, because thinking about it the night before, especially like if you might have a daunting task, something that you're not quite sure how you're going to get it done. You take that time to think about it the night before a little bit, before you fall asleep and whatnot. Well, guess what? When you fall asleep, your brain doesn't shut down, okay? The cells don't dry up and the blood doesn't stop flowing, all right? That thing's still going on in there. It's still working. And while you're asleep, it's still receiving information from the universe that's coming into your brain. And I can't tell you how many times I wake up, preferably first thing in the morning. Occasionally it happens I wake up in the middle of the night. That's, but you know what? If I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll jump out of bed and grab a pen and pad and paper, whatever that tongue twister is right there, and I'll start writing it down, because the answers will just come to you out of the freaking nowhere. They will just come into your mind, and you will wake up. Generally, I wake up in the morning with this stuff. I wake up in the morning, and I usually always wake up before my alarm. So to me, that's like, my alarm is set for a reason. That's when I'm going to be out of bed for sure, no matter what, right? But if I'm up before that and I've got time and there's something on my mind, I'm sitting there and I'm letting it play out, and I'm running it through my head. And, I'm just allowing this information that was given to me in my sleep to resonate inside my brain and make sense and sort of create the answers that I'm looking for. And it's amazing how often that happens if you put that effort into the night before, instead of worrying about bad things and what went wrong and all of that stuff. Like John says, think about the good things, think about the challenges ahead, think about, what fun you're going to have, think about how it's all going to make you feel when you get it done right, when you get it done and it's done right and all of that thing. And you fall asleep with that mental message, and you will attract amazing solutions and answers and wisdom and ideas, and I mean just everything that just really can propel you in the morning to the fact where when I get up out of bed in the morning, I don't have time to go to the store and get a cup of coffee or work on a routine. Like I said, I'm up. I got to do my thing in the bathroom, of course. Got to brush the teeth. Can't stand having no teeth. I stick a cup of hot water in the coffee and make my instant in the microwave. Make my instant coffee. While that's warming up, I do about 50 push-ups on the deck. Come back in, make my coffee, sit down, grab this, fire this thing back up, and away I go. I mean, my little routine there lasts about 5 minutes, because I got to just get that stuff in place and get those thoughts down on paper, because if you don't get them down on paper, guess what? They'll go away and they won't come back. So you only get one shot at them. You got to get them down on paper.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where it comes into creating a little system for yourself. Like Paul, kind of what you described, your routine, and kind of if you look at what I described about my little morning routine lately, because my routine kind of changes, but it's a routine, it's a system. So you need to have a system, I think, for jumping out of bed in the morning, getting yourself ready, ignoring how the body feels, realize that it truly is mind over matter, meaning what you think how you think you feel is actually how you feel. Bottom line. So you can't listen to the body. You got to tell it what to do. But that's a system, right? And we're always talking about systems for our business, but you want to feel real good and be real productive with your time. I know I do, because I'm young. I know that I'm about halfway through my life. And I also know that
About a quarter of the way.
Exactly. I know from the people I've always surrounded myself with that they worked every day till they pretty much died, or they had to work 40 years of 10-hour, 12-hour days doing some like hard labor, which I commend. I don't beat that up. We need those kind of people, and those people should be rewarded in the end for those efforts. I not poo-pooing like that solid guy who's willing to work and support his family on it. I come from a working class family, but I'm saying, like, in this day and age, to have a job like my father retired from is damn near impossible. And if you do get in where he works, you're pretty much locked in because it's a utilities company, yada, yada, yada. But there's very few jobs that are like that, where you can work from 20 to 65 and retire and actually have enough passive income from the different investments you've gotten through the years to where you can survive. My dad right now has the ability to survive and go on trips and go with my mom. But I'm looking at the fact that he's 65. To me, he's still got a third of his life left, really, because people live to be around 90. So I know people that wither and die young, right? Or I say die young is because, yeah, they live to be 86, but the last 20 years of their life, they're suffering, they've got dementia, all these things that personally I believe is a lot related to the mind and diet, more so than things that can't be overcome. But anyway, I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, yes, I know exactly where I'm going with this. Sorry. But you know, you've got to always keep your mind activated and learning. And that comes back to a system. You know, we talk about how a system for our business can make us successful in our business. Well, think about a system for your life. Like, that system includes a routine to get out of bed in the morning to make yourself feel good. That includes a routine and a habit of eating healthy all the time and resisting the temptations of food that you know is unhealthy, because when you eat a lot of it, you gain weight fast. Like, really observe your body. I'm just trying to point out the fact that I think the same things we apply to our business to make our businesses efficient, we need to apply to all the areas of our life if we want to really be a level 10 person that really can sit back at the end of the day, relax, get a great night's sleep, and say, I feel great about my day. It's a system. Everything is a system.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go, you got me off on a little side tangent there. It boils down to systems, though, in the ultimate end. But the whole thing, you talking about your dad there and the job, you know, he worked one job pretty much his whole life, ended up at the end of the day in a pretty good spot. And you were talking about how those jobs really are almost non-existent today. And it's true, they are almost non-existent. There's very few high-level positions within big corporations where you can get that sort of a thing. But from, you know, mid-level on down, you know, the way the system's designed, at the end of the day, you're going to be like the statistics show, most people at the end of their lifetime die without ever having really fulfilled their dreams and desires, you know, and that's the way most people are. So in today's world, especially, we really need to get out of sort of the mentality of you know, a one job for a lifetime mentality. I mean, it's okay to have that. Like John said, you know, you love being out there and working construction and, you know, building roads or bridges or houses or whatever it is that you do, right? If that's what you love, great, that's awesome. But alongside of that, coupled with that, you need to adapt into our lives multiple streams of income thinking. And we need to find additional systems that are already created for you, that are simple and easy, that you truly can just plug in, put a little bit of effort behind in your spare time, and create another stream of income for you that's going to be there, you know, preferably for the rest of your life, or at least be there to help expand your savings ability right now, so that you can put, you know, something into something that'll create cash flow for the rest of your life, so that you can actually have a chance to achieve your dreams and desires at some point down the road. Because you're not going to be able to get that once in a, you know, once job for a lifetime situation that's really going to put you in that position at the end of the day anymore. The world's changed, and that just isn't going to happen. I don't care where your thinking is. That's a fact, and deal with it. But so my point is, multiple streams of income thinking is really the missing piece to how people approach their lives these days. Now, property noodling is a way to actually you can do both, because you can start off by, bolstering your chunks of income with flipping some houses on the side while you're working your regular job. Because realistically, yeah, you only need to put a few hours a day into this, or a few hours on a weekend, or one day a week even, pretty much. And you can actually be pulling in a couple of nice chunks of cash throughout the year, whether it be 1, 2, 3 times, or whether it be 12, 15, 20 times. It all depends on how much you put into it, of course. But then it can also give you the ability to say, okay, I'm going to just accumulate these chunks of cash all year long. Now, at the end of the year, I can buy myself a piece of real estate, my own, and create some of that cash flow that'll last me a lifetime. So that's a mentality thinking that we really need to switch over to in today's world. And like I said, our Property Noodler program is just one way out of really quite many that are out there in this world today for you to, work towards doing that, so that at some point in your life, and like I said, hopefully before you're 65 years old and you still have some life left in you to enjoy your dreams and and goals, but to actually get to the point where you can.
Absolutely. The thoughts going through my head on this entire topic of how we came to this part where you're talking about has really got me thinking how important it is to be thinking these things, because without learning what passive income means, you're dead in the water. In this day and age, you're going to be working to the day you die unless you have multiple streams of passive income. It comes from real estate. It comes from websites. It comes from a network marketing system that you take a couple years to lay into place. It comes from maybe earning extra chunks of cash and becoming a money lender, or just small loans, like doing something to earn a decent return. And when I say decent return, 12% or better. That's depending on the investment vehicle. And I just wanted to take a step back to one thing that Paul had mentioned before he got into the multiple streams of income, touch upon systems and, systems for multiple streams of income. And yes, you find a system that you can just plug into and it's simple and easy. But I want to preface that, because this is the difference between, I think, a winner and a loser, or someone who will fail, is that you don't do anything with the mentality that it's a get-rich-quick scheme. And when you hear simple and easy, it's a simple and easy, but it might not be simple and easy for you if you're not the right person and it's completely out of your comfort zone. So don't, but embrace that, because you have the ability to change yourself. And it's not just about the money. It's about you. The money comes later. It's so true. Gosh, I can just tell you how true it is, but that's another topic. But I want to say, to get those multiple streams of income, once they're coming in, you're like, wow, that's simple and easy. But to get them, it's going to take education. It's going to take changing yourself. It's going to take motivating, but mainly it's about your mentality. It's a complete shift of mentality, because people are brainwashed into trading time for money. And it sounds like a simple concept, passive income, but I've been drilling that into my own head for 3 years, and I have barely any until the last couple months, which is minimal from a network marketing business, have an actual passive stream of multiple income. I have businesses that are now getting systemized, but that's the thing. It's harder. It's harder than I think the average person thinks, or I wouldn't even say the average person. All the gurus that teach this stuff, they're level 8, 9, 10 people, and they sometimes don't realize that what's simple and easy for them is you don't forget where you came from, but you can learn it. Because you hear passive income and you're like, oh, that's so simple. Passive income, I get it. do you really get it? Because if you did, wouldn't you be working at putting something together every single day so that you can get paid forever on what you do today? That's like you're a bartender. Imagine you sell a beer one day, and every single time a Bud Light bottle sells at that bar, you get a nickel. I would take a nickel off every Bud Light sold at a bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So think about it that way. But it's hard to overcome because we're so programmed. But I'm just thinking it comes down to a system, a habitual system, looking at your habits, applying the idea of what we were doing and accomplishing with the business system into your life so that you feel good and you educate yourself, and then you have a system for acquiring passive streams of income as well. But it all comes down, I think, to having a life system.
You said it's a mentality. You said there's a mentality that you have to have, and something just popped into my head. And you have to have a mentality of devotion. You have to devote yourself to yourself. That's, you know what I mean? You do. You have to devote yourself to yourself, because if you're not working on you, which that encompasses all of it, your, mental, spiritual, physical, and financial aspects of you, if you can't devote yourself to yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. So yeah, I just came up with that. You have to have a mentality of devotion. You have to devote yourself to yourself. Just want to throw that in.
Yeah, no, I like that. And you know what? As you were talking about multiple streams of income there and devoting yourself to you, this plays in. I definitely think besides just devoting yourself to you, and this is so true if you want to be successful in wholesale real estate, is you need to devote yourself to not just you, but you need to devote yourself to other people. I believe that the difference between people who get by and earn a living and the people who are rich is that the people who are rich, and I'm talking about feel good at the end of the day, happy people, good people, they do what they want, when they want, without infringing the rights of others type of people, they're very rich and successful. Why? Because of their devotion to other people. They are providing service and goods to a lot of people. Guy like Steve Jobs, the creator of Apple. You can look at him with the mentality that he was a brilliant entrepreneur who solved the problem. And he's, even after his death, his creations, his business is servicing other people. And it's on every single level. If you think about it, the people who buy his products, I'm on an Apple computer right now. This thing, I love the computer. My entire business, bank account, world is inside this little box that this man created. And it's how I build my wealth. It's how I build my wealth. I want to earn a living out of your mind. That's how I earn my living. Boom. That's how I build wealth. Because I'm not in life to earn a living. I'm in life to build wealth. But anyway, Steve Jobs, how it works on every level is that the computer, how many people that's helping that has this computer? Business owners, musicians, producers who use their software. You get where I'm going with that. Not only that, but it's providing job opportunities all over the world for the people that are either in sales, selling these computers, distributors, employees at the factories, then the places where the computers are being sold from. There's jobs created there because people have to take it from the wholesaler to the retail public. So it creates a lot of jobs. It creates investment capital. How many people have made a shitload of money off of Apple stocks? The reason Steve Jobs is a billionaire is because of, look at just what I described there, how many people he's helped, how many people he's reached and touched with his products. And you have to not just devote yourself to you. You want to be truly rich and truly successful. You have to devote yourself to other people. And that is like the secret of wholesale real estate, because it's until you really learn how to connect with people, you'll be doing just a handful of deals a year. When you can get out there, understand a problem, confidently go into a situation knowing you can help somebody, you get them to sign a contract with you because they believe in you. They bought you because you are truly devoted to helping them, and you can learn to listen to them and connect with them and vibrate on their frequency, that's where you build wealth. That's where wealth is built, is on how you can create relationships with other people. And that's kind of my final thought for the day, so I'll toss it back over to Paul.
Yeah, and you probably aren't very good at that right now, which is why you have to devote yourself to become that kind of a person. And with that, O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom, with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. Unless, John, you've got a final word, I'm going to sign us out of here.
I could go on for another 30 minutes. So I had to have a good, strong session. Think about what we talked about here today. Seriously, taking the idea of implementing not just systems in your business and for your finances, but in your personal life, multiple streams of income, understand passive income, start to look for ways to acquire it. Every day you should be working towards it. Have a commitment and a devotion, as Paul was saying, and then finally work on who you are as a person, but realize that by working on you, it's to build your self-confidence so that you can learn to devote and work harder and reach more people. So that's kind of the message for today. So
yep.
Wow, I say awesome stuff, and it really, that's what it takes to be successful in life, but that's what it takes to be successful in wholesale real estate. So sayonara.
What does all that have to do with wholesale real estate? Wholesale real estate is just one of the many avenues that you have to be able to do those kinds of things.